It's 6:22 in the morning, and like a lot of us, we've got to get up. We've got to clear our passageways, like little Ace over there. Yeah. Ace is going to do his business, so we'll give him a little privacy. But here's the reality, man. 6:22 in the morning, and just like little Ace, man. It's not easy, man. It's not easy getting up early this morning. And here's the thing with these videos now, why the videos, video like this is outside at this time in the morning is, Ace now being a big part of the household. When he hears me get up, he knows, it's time to get up, right? So he's here to seize the day, just like I am. And I think, man, it's with great gratitude that we have him, that we've got little Mia, and we've got my wife here. And man, we're up. It's a foggy morning. It's still kind of chilly out here in Florida. And I think it's important that we get these messages out. It's important that this channel grows because, it's a huge dose of reality. Every morning getting that dose of reality, I think, is important, man, for us all to congregate, for us all to realize how important this time is in our lives, how important it is to do the best we can each day. Yesterday I went on a long walk with my daughter, and while I was taking the walk, I got to talk to one of my old buddies from the road, Paul. Shout out to Paul. And yeah, man, I did the video last night talking about, how lucky we are to still be alive and maybe not be out on the road anymore. It's tough out there, man. People that have not done it, people that have not experienced it, they don't really have a clue. Us that have done it, even if it's a van tour, and how tough it can be, to maintain sanity, how tough it can, be to survive, man. The longer you're out there, and look, man, I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when I started going out on the road, and I was not necessarily a young man. I think I was probably about 30, 33 years old when I first started getting calls to go out on the road. Nashville is for some people, it can happen overnight. But for me, it did not happen overnight. I was still, washing off the residue of the Sunset Strip and still holding on to the long hair and the mentality of the Sunset Strip. And that was totally divergent to the Nashville mentality and Nashville musical spectrum. I came to Nashville and was like, why is everybody using these little combo amps? And why is the guitar sound so small? Why is it so small? And, it took a few years before Nashville started embracing, Marshall stacks. And I'm not talking about on stage. You're not going to see a ton of country acts with walls of Marshalls on stage. But what I am talking about is the recorded tone. And, man, when I first got to Nashville, I don't think there was don't think they were using, Marshall heads of 412 cabs on sessions. Now, I was just a newbie in town at that time, so I know what I was using, and but I don't know what the artists were using at the time. But man, I know that matchless amps and Vox style amps that seemed to rule the roost when I first got to town. And man, I was like, man, why does it sound so small, and all that. And man, here's the thing: music changes, music evolves, and now, if you were to walk in on an official Nashville session, man, you'd see somebody have a rack of amp heads, and I guarantee there's some kind of Marshall style head in there. And man, usually, it's some kind of vintage head. There's that thing in Nashville where everything's got to be authentic, right? And I'm talking about the big name sessions. That's not to say you wouldn't see a Kemper or something else maybe used on, stuff kind of outside the Music Row scene. But man, as far as, being out on the thing, you're going to see, people with old Fender Bassman heads and, Marshall heads and, different things like that. And, to get that, authentic, sort of vintage tone, you're not going to see a lot of high gain amps. That hasn't worked its way into Nashville yet. But who knows, man? Who knows in the future? Maybe a young guy comes along and says, why does the guitar sound so old? Let's modern it up. And all it takes is one guy to have a huge hit song with a really heavy, overdriven tone, and maybe even a metal tone, with a country backbeat. And, things can change. You could start seeing triple rectifiers on country songs. That is essentially a vintage amp now, the original triple rectifiers. And that was where my head was at when the triple rectifier came out. That was a very popular amp, but it was a hard rock amp. And I think the original concept for that came from George Lynch. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think George Lynch was working with them on that amp. And originally, I think it was supposed to be some kind of collaboration with him. But, here's the thing, man. When I heard about that amp, triple rectifier, and I remember Steve Cropper joked when he saw it. He says, that's one of them rectum fryers. And, but that was where my head was at. I was into the high gain thing. I was into big, brutal, like kind of tones. I wanted to, take it to the next level and all that. So I bought one of the first ones, the 2-channel triple rectifiers. And I wish I still had that amp. It's one of those things, man, as if you're a professional player, man, the gear comes in and gear comes out. But I used that triple rectifier. I used it to record the Rap Next album. And I remember having to sell some gear to get it. And going down to, I think at the time, it was at Rock Block is where I bought it. I'm pretty sure it was Rock Block, or it was a place that, the place out in Nashville that used to be where the Madison Sam Ash is. It was either one. I think it was Rock Block. And I remember buying that amp. And just being pumped because I was probably the only guy in Nashville that had that amp. And I would use it to record. And look, man, I think even high gain amps like that, you can dial down the gain. It had a vintage sort of setting and stuff like that. So I wasn't always, just diming the distortion and stuff like that. I know how to get different levels of gain and stuff like that, but, it's pushing the limits of what is out there. If you are a young guy out there and you're creating new music and you want to do something different, combine different styles of music, bring in tones that style of music doesn't normally have, and keep it real. Keep it real. That would be my best advice to you. Don't be afraid to mix styles. I know people complain that country music sounds like hip hop now, but man, it's just a normal thing to combine different styles. Now, what would be the next thing to do? That's a good question. That is a good question. Evolution of music. It's scary what's going on now with the AI music and all that. And I think there's going to be a place for more real artists. So I think the thing to do now would be to go back in time. I think if you're a country artist, go back to the real amps. Go back to the Fender combo amps, vintage blackface, vintage silverface. Go back to that sound. Go back to the nudie suits. And what was the other guy that did the country outfits, the sparkly outfits? Go back to that. The 10-gallon hats. Go back to upright bass. Go back to basic drums. And I think the industry is screaming for something like that, something retro, something real, something retro, something real. You want a blueprint for success, kids? You want to try something new in the music business? Then sometimes you got to go back in time. Country music has embraced the future and all of this stuff, but man, there's a huge audience, just like there's a huge audience for Greta Van Fleet because they're mining the Led Zeppelin thing. There is a huge opportunity waiting on the table for somebody to do the retro thing. A young artist, look at Billy Strings, look at Marcus King, look at what these guys are doing, look at the success that they're having doing what they're doing with music. Do the same thing with country music. Keep it real, keep it raw, and record it the old-fashioned way with the old-fashioned gear. It'd be just like the Stray Cats in the 80s. If you had thought before the Stray Cats existed, if you thought, oh, we're going to put together this rockabilly band, dude, it's the 80s. Like, what are you talking about? Why? No, it's Floyd Rose's bro. It's Marshall Staggs. It's Big Hair. No, these guys came out with bowling shirts and pompadours and Fender Bassman amps. And man, they took on the world. They had great success. They were popular on MTV and all that. What did they do? They went back and mined from the past. So I think this is a very valuable lesson to anybody listening out there. If you want to have a place in the future of music, maybe go back and mine the past. And the same thing could be said for R&B groups. There are no R&B artists now like Marvin Gaye. There is nothing that sounds like Motown. Man, if you were able to capture that sound with just improved sonics of today, but no trickery, no fakery, real music, real players. I know there's a ton of great R&B players out there. I know you've got to find a singer that has that thing, man. Marvin Gaye didn't just sing about, his girlfriend and, come on, baby, let's go in the back room. He did have songs like that. But look at the What's Going On album. Man, if you could put together an album like that with the message and the power of that message, you would have a huge thing. So the way to the future sometimes is mining the past.